Tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome everyone again to our live chat together on exercising after birth. Apologies for the couple of false starts we've had, but hopefully everything goes nice and smoothly for us now. My name is Chloe, I'm from our Plunket line team here, and joining me today I have the lovely Lisa and Jess from Move It Mama down in Christchurch. How do my ladies? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you guys do with Move It Mama?
Sure thing. Hi, I feel like we've been chatting for a while, not knowing what people have heard. So,
go for it from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So far so good. It doesn't sound like chipmunks, so that's good.
Excellent.
Okay. So I'm Lisa, and Move It Mama is my business that it kind of all happened by accident once I'd had my fourth baby. So I've got 4 boys, and they're now 4, 6, 8, and 10. But sort of back when I was in my 3rd pregnancy, I started exercising from home while pregnant with my sisters. Kind of we always sort of text each other workouts, because we realized that we could actually exercise from home, and it was quite convenient and quite effective, and also so good for our mental health. So and then anyway, cut a long story short, once I had the 4th baby, around about 6 months old, I had a few friends from school just come over to my house, and I'd show them what I would do for exercise, because they used to see me and think, how have I gone to the gym with all these little kids? Because I had 4 kind of 5.5 and under. And I said, there's no way I go to the gym, I just do it at home, and it's just 20 minutes, it's all my kids can cope, you know, they can kind of fend for themselves if I'm organized enough to give me 20 minutes of a workout. And I kind of wanted to do it when they were awake, so then I could relax or cook dinner or whatever when they were having their naps. So my sister Jess and my sister Charlotte, who lives in Cambridge, would often still, you know, go about giving each other workouts to do. And sometimes the sisters used to text me like 28-minute ones, and I'd be like, no, I can only do 20 minutes. And I found that once I realized what exercise did for me, it kind of clicked around the 3rd child. What it did for me mentally was too huge for me to give up. So it became part of a regular cemented part of my lifestyle, that I needed to exercise to actually be a better person. And I think, being a mum or not, I think everybody can benefit from regular exercise. So Move It Mama, I started helping a few of my friends, and then they came to
3.5 years ago?
4. Well,
nearly
in
4.
June it'll be 4 years ago. Just two school mums that I didn't know too well, but they were always like, oh, I want to like show me. And so I took them through a couple of workouts, and then it rained one day, and I didn't have a very big house at all. And so I said, why don't I set up a private group on Facebook, and I'll do that Facebook Live thing, which was completely new to me. I'd never done it. Anyway, they loved it because they had babies, so they didn't need to take their babies with them. And so then it grew and grew, and then in a week there was about 500 people in the group, and then there was about 5,500 people by the time I launched it into a business. So I made it a business about 8 months later. I am a primary school teacher, but everyone said to me, you can't go back to school teaching, you need to keep doing this and somehow make it into a business for you. So did that, launched the business, wanted to keep it really cheap because I didn't want any barriers. I just wanted people to feel good, so I didn't want to, you know, lock in anybody or feel like it was not affordable, because my goal was just to help anyone like me feel better about themselves. Jess and Shar helped me out a lot with a lot of the time, but now they're actually full-time. Well, no, not full-time. They're like massive part of the business. Jess does about 20 hours a week for me, 15 or more probably. She's always living and breathing in Shar, and they take workouts as well. Jess is a pregnancy and postpartum trained personal trainer. And so I'll let her introduce herself, but that's her in a nutshell.
Yeah, but you've kind of done. I'm Jess, one of the sisters. So Shar is my twin, and so there are 3 of us. Shar's based in Cambridge, as Lisa said. I've trained as a personal trainer maybe 5 years ago now, and have since done, I studied on my 3rd bit of study in pregnancy and exercise at the moment, and I've been doing the workouts. And so Shar and I started taking workouts a couple of years ago now, so we kind of split our timetable, and we deliver now 10 live workouts a week, ranging not from low impact beginner bodyweight sessions to more strength focused to pregnancy modified, perfect for postpartum pregnancy once medically cleared, which we'll talk about. And what else do we do? High intensity as well. So now we're doing 10 across. Yeah.
Currently 40 weeks pregnant with her second baby.
Oh, amazing. Congratulations. You got a little Peppy making its appearance shortly then, eh?
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, so we'll see. But yeah, that's
so she's got her daughter is about 19 months. So I'm pleased that she's here right now because I really needed her to be on this chat.
Excellent. Oh, it sounds like the both of you have so much wisdom and knowledge to share with everyone. So we'll kind of go through a little bit of background first. So sort of what kind of stage should mums be starting to exercise after they've given birth to baby?
This is this is a big question, and
well, first we'll just do a disclaimer kind of thing.
Yeah.
That we're not
women's health physios.
We're not women's health physios. So just in case somebody said something about that, but what we pride ourselves in advising really safe practice. And so we would never say by 6 weeks you should be exercising. You shouldn't. I'll hand it over to Jess because I want her to speak about this because she's right in amongst it.
Yeah, I think the fact is no two bodies are the same. We all go through pregnancy differently. We start off pre-pregnancy very different in terms of our makeup, our exercise history, everything, right? So I can't tell you a specific date. And I think that is, there's a 6-week guide, and often women are cleared more or less between 6 to 12 weeks postpartum for some light exercise to recommence exercise. While that is a guideline, we would always suggest being medically cleared by preferably a women's health physio. So the norm here is, I think, to have a midwife or a GP to clear you where possible. And I know not everyone would have the capability or the resource, but where possible to get cleared by a women's health physio. And some women would be able to start something light from about 6 weeks. But then some women will be months off or weeks off that. So it's a bit of a grey area, but it's quite hard. Individualised.
It's quite hard because the midwives aren't really a lot of midwives aren't really trained in that area either. So they might say, oh, you've had a vaginal birth, your stitches have healed, you're 6 weeks postpartum, you can exercise, and then that woman might be like, oh, okay, I'll start doing burpees to the floor. Whereas that's probably not the best way to start. It's not the best way to begin because you've got to be careful about your stomach. You've put your body's been through a lot. And I think that going to see a women's health physio would be really good because a lot of the time people have separation in their abdominals, but the midwife doesn't really know that. So you need to try and get I think the best thing to do is at around 6 weeks, if you're feeling like you can exercise, go and get yourself checked.
Yeah. It's almost like I hear the phrase "listen to your body" a lot, but it's kind of like that heightened and multiplied by 10, as in you need to do a little more than that. A lot of like pelvic floor or ab separation or a lot of problems post baby can go undiagnosed unless you actually go get checked. So that would be our advice from about 6 weeks to go and get that checked.
So I've had 4 vaginal births, and I never exercised before 6 weeks at all, even though I kind of probably felt like I could. I just knew that, yes, I might feel like I could, but I don't think that's going to benefit my body in the long run. Yeah. So you need to let your body heal. And you might feel fine, but really your body, your pelvic, your hips have widened in birth. Like you've got to kind of let yourself. I have had a few messages from people, I'm 2 weeks postpartum, can I start? And we're like, no.
And
anyway.
So does that kind of
help? Oh, no, that is great. A lot of listening to your body, that's so important. So that's excellent advice. So thank you. And when people do get to that stage and like you say, they've been cleared, they've had that confirmation that it's safe for them, what kind of moves are good ones for people to start with to kind of start on that exercising journey postpartum?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost and quite early on in the piece, you can start recommencing or commencing pelvic floor, really light pelvic floor and breathing exercises. There's something called like the restorative breath, and basically trying to learn to reconnect the muscles through from this whole region, from your diaphragm down to your pelvic floor and all of the core included. and retrain the abs and the pelvic floor together. So some very light walking too. There is a bit of a principle too. I was speaking it to my midwife at my 40-week check yesterday about quite a cool concept as far as, if you think you're 7 days post-baby, then you might be able to do double that very light walking. So 7 days post-baby, maybe you could do a 14-minute very leisurely stroll, right? And that's quite a cool, I think, quite a cool thing.
Yeah,
so
and
like,
you feel so good getting out at one day.
And often you need that fresh air. So 10 days, maybe you can do a 20-minute walk. But we're talking very slow, right?
We're not talking a car walk and like in a sweater.
No. So light walking, you know, some women at that stage could start doing some light body weight exercises. But again, you just need to make sure that you're medically cleared. So...
I think like with your boobs, I remember being like 12 weeks postpartum with my fourth, and I was still so fresh, and like my body had been, you know, and my boobs were so big, and I remember feeling like I at that time I I wasn't as educated as I am now to what, because that's how many years ago? 4.5 years ago, say 4 years ago. But I remember kind of doing a burpee thinking, oh, this probably doesn't feel too great. So then I toned it back a bit and just concentrated on how I felt at the end to then motivate myself to go on. But I think your body after birth, I think a lot of people think they're just going to be fine. But your body's still going through so many hormonal changes. Like you're going to have milk in your boobs if you're breastfeeding. You're going to have engorgement. You're going to have soft tissue. And you've got to be really careful that you don't just go straight out and injure and make it bad.
So some light walking, pelvic floor, reconnecting, so some light core stuff that will help you basically learn to re-engage and reactivate your core. Things like glute bridges and clamshells and
what's a clamshell?
So lying on your side and open. Yes.
Do you know?
I did not. I was just about to ask, so thank you for doing it before me. It's made me feel a lot better. Thank you.
There's plenty of guidance on YouTube and stuff for and Move It Mama. But essentially it can be a bit of trial and error for people too. Like some people will feel fine to do a squat and some people just won't. So it's about listening to your body, as I said, times multiplied by 10, and a bit of trial and error to figure out, you know, oh, that doesn't feel good, I need to regress or modify.
Excellent, awesome. And is there any sort of difference that you would tell people to do in terms of movements, sort of a cesarean section versus a vaginal birth, and any differences you would sort of advise there?
I'm just feeling bad that I've been saying vaginal. Is it vaginal?
You can say it however you want. I'm a Brit. I say things funny. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I just feel like it's quite fun to say vaginal in a way that's quite. Well, no, I feel like quite naughty, but like not naughty, but I want to speak
You're
like
fine.
all the time. So it's quite fun, isn't it? Anyway, C-section.
Yeah, with the C-section, I mean, again, it's going to be individual and down to the woman. I mean, avoiding anything like as far as heavy lifting, like you've been through an extremely major surgery, so being mindful of healing that scar, and again a bit of trial and error as far as what will feel good, but certainly with a C-section you're trying to avoid any kind of heavy lifting. But I mean the same post-vaginal birth too. I mean essentially my simple answer in short would be see a women's health physio, and it's quite there probably isn't much difference either way, but you've obviously got this extra scar tissue to be mindful of.
So not too much pressure. You would never go on to plank, you know, you want to be on an incline, so we always make sure that when you start exercising again, you're using an incline. So we would never expect you to get down on the ground and have that pressure. You know, you come up and you run the floor up to you.
And in saying that, even still, like you might be months off doing anything that is weight bearing on your stomach. So I am aware of fence sitting a little bit through this conversation, but you need to have the clearance, and everyone's different.
I remember it's just if this is like adds any value, I don't know. But I remember Jess saying to me, you know, after I'd had my fourth baby, like, what's the rush, you know? And I'm like, that's so true. Like, this is like, so we in Move It Mama, we try and educate people that this is a lifestyle. It's not just coming in to do a 6-week challenge. It's not that.
No.
Okay? It's just exercising every week to make yourself feel good for that day or that week and help you reset your mind. And so there is no rush. I'm not rushing to get a body back. What's your body? This is your body. You're given a body. You want to move it to make yourself feel good. Yeah. And so I remember that once you've had a baby, I think people think they've got to rush to do this, but there's no rush. Just try and focus on what makes you feel good. And if it gives you energy for the rest of the day and makes you a better person, then continue it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome advice. Love it. Yeah, like you say, just trusting yourself and taking things slowly. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, and one of the things we've had sort of some questions about as well is kind of bracing your core, and sort of how do people do it, and what do people do if they can't kind of brace those core muscles down there?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few different cues that we try to teach people, and people will respond to different cues, like things like preparing to take a punch in your stomach or is one, and that's like that bracing effect. It might be that thinking about pulling a string from your belly button through to your spine works for you and helps you to engage it.
Wearing a really tight jacket, wrapping that stomach around and zipping that imaginary zip up. I think that I remember not being able to feel my core. I remember after clearly, and thinking, oh, I can't even feel it. And I know that feeling, and I know people say to me, I can't even feel it. But if you keep imagining and trying different techniques and thinking about your core, which is what we always say it throughout the workouts. But if you keep doing that, one day you'll get a light bulb moment will happen and you'll be like, oh, that's what she means. That's what they mean. I can feel it now. Because once your core gets stronger again, you can start to really feel the activation and that bracing.
Yeah. It might mean for some women, though, and a considerable amount of women, to go back right to basics. And as I talked about, the breathing and trying to actually do some exercises. There's amazing resources online, social media or YouTube, as far as learning to reconnect and learning to reactivate your core, and different techniques to do that, and really, really light ab exercises to begin with to start doing that. As far as like, there might be women in that kind of pool, not that we can stereotype everyone, but there might be women over there, and then there might be someone that could do a light body weight workout because they've got that base core function. So it's important to decipher where you kind of are.
That's awesome. Lovely. And when people are sort of past that stage, moving on to those next steps, when they've been doing the low intensity and they're ready to ramp it up a little bit with that intensity, with that high intensity workout, what kind of stage postpartum would you recommend doing that? Is there a sort of a level you would be looking at people being at?
Kind of like the same. Again, it's kind of a similar answer to everybody is different. So I mean, I ramp my things up quite quickly. I mean, quite fast. I start doing high intensity, say probably from about 4 months, 16 weeks. So. Yeah. Because I've always exercised, so it's not like new for me. Whereas if you're somebody that hasn't really exercised and is not exercising now, and then you're coming back into exercise once you've had a baby and thinking I haven't exercised in a few years, then you start doing what Jess said at the beginning, just your pelvic floor exercises, your walking, maybe a few like light glute bridges, maybe start doing, with Move It Mama, we've got pregnancy sessions and back to basics, which is a very low intensity, well, you can make it quite low intensity. And so we always advise people to start from that if you're new to like body weight exercises, or you're new to exercise from, at home.
Yeah, it'll be different for everybody, based on so many variables. But high intensity, I would, you might be anywhere from 3 to 6 months to 1 year postpartum.
And sometimes I don't want to do high intensity, but I'm doing my high intensity workout, but I might go a bit lower, and I just want the strength aspect of it. So we've got like strength workouts as well. So like high intensity, I think back a few years ago, it was about like smashing your body, but it's just not really about that. You might be afraid by the word of high intensity, but you just take it at your own pace. And if you want to get a real good puff on, and if you feel strong enough to, and you've given your body enough time to heal, then you can go for it. But you know, tomorrow you might not fancy that, so you tone it back a bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of, as I said before, a lot of like signs of prolapse, or if you've got any kind of incontinence or pelvic floor problems, or ab separation or anything like that, clearly your recovery might be a lot longer. But it's important to know if they're there, because often they can be just misdiagnosed and you can live with it. And the unfortunate thing is, so many women are living with these symptoms, thinking it's just normal, like, oh, can't do that, I'll wee myself, that kind of thing. And like, you can fix that, you can work to fix that. So it's about taking a huge step back and starting with the healing process. But yeah, in answer to your question, anywhere I'd say from 3 months to 6 months and, you know, beyond.
I think, like, with a just on that note, like with our core, and once we've had a baby and the pelvic floor and everything, once you start to feel like you can start moving again, that over time your core will get stronger if you're consistent with your exercise, and then that will help with like other little problems as well, like your you know, the bladder and all that kind of thing. With a stronger core,
that's the foundation.
It's a foundation. So don't think that it's never going to get better, because it will if you give yourself the time.
Cool. And that's really good, because that actually brings us very nicely to a question that we've just got from someone watching. So thanks for sending that in. And it's tips for improving the pelvic floor after having babies, sometimes years down the track. I know you kind of touched on that briefly. Is there anything else you would suggest about improving that pelvic floor?
I think it's quite hard because we're not pelvic floor physios. Doing pelvic floor exercises. So as you said, there's a lot of like pelvic floor information you can get online now, exercises. Like, I always never forget, like whenever I get petrol, I always do my kegels. I still do that. Like, I stand there and I do the kegels.
That would be a big tip, though. So honestly, that is a tip. Like,
one thing you do that you need to like wait for.
Yeah, we just had a morning. We had a meeting earlier, and the woman has 5 weeks postpartum, and she said to me, as she was doing something in the car, she just quickly did her pelvic floor exercises. It's trying to find,
when you make your coffee, you're waiting for the jug to boil, do your pelvic floor. Maybe that's your cue every time, because that is a huge, I mean, do you know how to do your pelvic floor? You think about going for a wee and stopping. I'm doing it right now. I've been doing them while we started talking about this. So I think, like, that is such a little move that is so powerful. I can see question, and it's generic and saying sometimes years down the track, and this is the thing, is that like, you should just do them forever. I mean, it's a really fundamental group of muscles, and you know, it is supporting a lot, and it's been through a lot, especially if you have had children and been through a pregnancy, whether you've delivered at a cesarean or vaginal, it's taken its toll. Vaginal. So, you know, there's not any point to this. We should, just like exercise, going for a number 2s or cleaning your teeth, like, we should honestly just be doing them regularly. Why not?
Yeah, another watcher has actually very helpfully said sitting at the traffic lights. That is an excellent way to make those traffic jams go faster. Amazing.
It's easy to multitask, and we are women.
And I think this is regardless if you've had a baby or not. Like, I mean, I've got someone in my mind that I'm not going to say out loud, but that hasn't had children, but always is like, oh, and like does a bit of a wet of her pants, and it's like, do your kegels, you know, everybody, we're all women. Like, I think it's beneficial for everybody.
Oh yeah, so important.
Yeah, as I said before, it's unfortunately like just something that people sit and drift along with, and we don't have to. Yeah, much like a ab separation, very common after birth and pregnancy, and people don't know to check for it, and they'll just deal with that. And yeah, it's just, that's where we...
It's quite interesting though, because I've had 4 babies obviously, and only once have I had a physio come to me at the hospital bed after the 4th baby. I didn't ask for it, but she just came, and it was so great. She checked my abs, she checked everything, and it was so interesting. I wonder why that happened. I didn't ask at the time, I didn't really think about it, but you know, how good would it be if every mother got checked by a physio that came into the hospitals? I'm not sure why that happened to me.
Yeah, it's good though.
Anyway, but you know, I think it is really important to, you might feel fine, but it is so great to get cleared and checked and just know that you're all good to you know, start your journey of exercising in your life regularly.
Yeah.
And you know, as I'm sure you guys agree with, like, knowledge is power, and being empowered to go, actually, you know, I want to see a physio before I leave, and having that education is fantastic. So thank you for sharing that knowledge, because a lot of people here might not know that they can ask for that, or that's something they can advocate for. So thank you for sharing that with us. That is wonderful. Cool. And when people are starting exercise, and we've had a lot of feedback about this from mums before our chat today, what about motivation? How do we kind of get started? Sometimes that can be the hardest part to do, just starting to exercise. Motivation, hit me with it. What are your top tips?
Well, how good does it feel when, I mean, we've got one life to live. We've got one life to live, and how good does it feel if you feel really good in your life? Like, I know, and I know that maybe we're a little bit weird, but my sisters and I feel our best when we're exercised and we've eaten nutritious food and drink lots of water. I know I love to have a wine and eat yummy junk as well, but if I eat too much of it and keep going like that, then I'm going to go into a downward spiral, and I'd probably be quite my mental health would suffer. So for me, it's like, it's one thing that I found early in the piece, that if I popped it into my lifestyle, it would completely help me live a better life, be a better person, be a better daughter, sister, friend, partner, wife, whatever, and feel confident. Like, I lost my sparkle when I was knee deep in nappies, and I regained it when I put regular exercise into my life. And with regular exercise, you feel so good, and you need to always remember that feeling.
I think so my first thing is, we aren't motivated. Okay, I can't come to you in 1 month and say, oh, I'll start my exercise regime in 1 month because I'll suddenly have motivation. It doesn't work like that.
I mean, I don't have motivation, but I have discipline to feel good.
And there's a direct link between exercise and mental health, and nutrition and mental health, so far as, you know, doing these things will lead to better mental health. And that's a large part of our why and our purpose, and why we exercise is focusing on the mental health. Physical benefits come as a byproduct of that. So just actually accepting the fact that we won't be motivated, I think, is kind of powerful in itself. And then trying to shift our focus. We've been inundated with marketing and businesses and corporate and anything and everything, and everyone telling us that we should exercise all to do with our weight, which is just dumb. Like, there are bigger things. It's important to maintain a healthy weight, and it's beneficial too, but there are so many other reasons to exercise. So accepting that you won't always be motivated, but kind of also accepting that it needs to be a part of your life.
Accepting that you're going to be tired, but actually if you just put in 20 minutes of exercise, you're going to feel better. Like, I'm tired all the time.
Same.
I mean, but I know that, that day, if I give myself that permission to do that 20 minutes, I know that I'm going to be so much better to be around. And like, I don't want to live my life like in a slump and feeling depressed. Like, it lifts that little fog of cloud. It lifts that depression that might seep in if you're feeling like you're struggling. It helps make you feel even better if you're feeling great. Like, it helps, everything tastes better as well. It's just
and I think, if I think about my situation now too, being a relatively new mother, 18 months in, and with another one about to come, at this stage too, and given we are talking about post-baby, like, you can kind of lose your way a little bit as you adopt this new lifestyle into motherhood, and you can, and I know people refer to it as like a loss of identity or something like that.
I was that.
And you were that, and Lisa had this pinnacle moment where, after some regular exercise and changing and, you know, cementing these habits, she remembers talking to a man in a bar.
At a wedding. It was at a wedding.
Nice man, and she suddenly had this confidence to actually hold this conversation, where for a couple of years prior, she couldn't have done that.
I just didn't know how to talk, really. At least it was about like breastfeeding or changing bums.
And so, you know, it's bigger. It's bigger than the physical.
The confidence.
Your identity, something for you, something for your confidence. So focusing on the bigger picture we find helps keep us disciplined, not motivated.
Yeah. Hi, that is a lovely way of putting it. That is
that
yeah. Everyone's going to go out now and always some exercise all afternoon now.
People probably like, can they try?
That's fabulous, and we're getting some lovely comments as well, people saying me too, and makes things so much better. So thanks guys for reacting so well to that. I know whenever you go, even if you don't want to do it on Monday evening after work, doing the exercises makes you feel so much better. So that is fabulous. And you know, what other kind of things would you suggest doing kind of like around kind of general health, kind of, you know, we have that physical health, but that mental health as well? Is there anything that you guys do, any tips that you have to make people feel a little bit better inside and have a more positive outlook?
I think that people are all different again, but like one thing that helps me is I've always had quite a good routine, and I think I try and be organised, because that then helps me, like the domino effect of making sure I get my exercise in, making sure I get my water in. Like I know that every morning I drink my water, like little tick boxes through the day that I stick to most days, because that will help me feel better by the end of it. So
think about if you think about what kind of makes you feel a bit anxious or a bit not prepared or not empowered for the day, and get those things.
Yeah, like making my bed straight away.
To some people that doesn't matter. They're like, it doesn't bother me, but mentally that bothers me. Like I want mine made too.
And I leave my house every morning and I make sure my kitchen is clean and tidy. Like that will, I mean, some people won't care about that.
Bearing in mind it's not all perfect. The kids' rooms might be a bowl. Yeah, but like at least the kitchen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
one room at a time.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
So I think like if you identify what helps your brain feel clear, because I mean, so many tabs are open in our brains. We've got so many things on. Like aside from this, I've got swimming straight after school, and then I've got to cook dinner for 6 of us. You know, and I've had so there's a lot going on, and you could be a full-time working mum, and you've got to pick your kids up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then you've got to come home. So if you're organised, you've got the meet out the night before, like that kind of thing. You know, I think organisation for me, that's what helps. Jess, what helps you?
I think, what could I say? Sometimes like stopping to appreciate. So like I think there's you know, I feel like this has been talked about a fair bit recently, where like it's glorified to be real busy all the time.
Yes,
but if you can take time to stop, but thinking about like what those little things might be for you that mentally make you feel good, or take a breather from time to time.
Like I'm having just reading to my 4-year-old at the moment because he's loving it, and if I'm making time for that every day, like bring me a couple of books. Whereas like, you know, back in the day I might be too busy, but then it would stress me out that I didn't give that child that time. So giving time is a really good point. Like it's not actually that cool to be really busy, and that's fine. Like we don't, you know, well not that's fine, that was the wrong thing to say, but I used to always think it was really cool to be busy, but I've learned now that, like, you know, it's actually great if you're not too busy, and if you say no to things, you don't only do things that lift you up and make you feel good. You know, like try and be particular in what you do with your time, what makes you feel good.
And relating to that, I think having a support system in place that helps you as well.
You say a good friend or a good
stopping
someone
to talk on the phone, on FaceTime with your friend that might live away, or with your family or whatever. Like I think it's just fundamental to have that in place too.
Yeah, and like don't be afraid to actually say like this is actually really hard. Like yesterday I had the most wonderful day with and then this morning I was a scowling, horrible mother that just thought, what the heck? Like, I put this post on my Facebook page about my, like, having just a lovely day. And then, honestly, today was like, I was like, oh, terrible. But anyway, you know, just appreciate those moments when they do go well, and really
celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
And when people do have moments like that where they're feeling down, then there's lots of places they can reach out to, different helplines, Plunket line as well, of course. Our number that hopefully everyone knows, that 0800 933 922, we're available 24/7 as well. So if anyone ever needs any help, any support with anything.
I've got a couple more things.
No, you go. She might be tiring us.
Are you wanting us to go now?
Oh, no, you can go ahead. Couple more things about well-being. I'm always up for it, so go ahead. All good.
Okay. So I really look forward to my coffee in the morning. Like, that's a huge thing for me. And so I like to, that's something that I like. It's not fun. It's really important to me to have a nice coffee.
And you say that though, and what you mean by that as well is a bit about finding the perfect moment to really properly enjoy it.
I won't have it at 7 with the kids around me. I'm going to wait until I've got them occupied or sorted or eating morning tea or breakfast, and then I will pop myself down and enjoy that. Yeah. I try not to drink alcohol midweek, and then Friday night, from the beginning of when our first son was born, we do Friday night fun night, and they have like soda water with maybe a dollop of something, and then they always went to bed first, and my husband and I would have pizza and nachos and wine and beer, and that was something I look forward to every Friday night, and we still do this now. Like, normally we try not to go out with our friends or anything like that on a Friday night, so we keep like little things that get us closer to the week, and then we can really celebrate.
Lovely. Fabulous. And having that hot cup of coffee as well is very important. So finding time to do that.
It depends on the individual, but you know, we all love different things. Taking the time to make sure they're included in your life somehow, and you can ask for help if it means, you know, that you get to don't be afraid to help.
That's perfect. Lovely. No, those are all awesome things, and we've got a couple of other questions that we've had through before the chat today, and you guys might have a great answer for this one. Are there any groups out there that support mums wanting to exercise during pregnancy as well as postpartum? Do you guys know anyone who does that?
We do that.
Well, there you go. Amazing.
So all of our workouts that we do, we've got a timetable, but they stay in the group. So there are hundreds. Well, there's a lot of pregnancy workouts that Jess has taken, and you know that what you're doing is safe. You know, we're delivering a workout that you know you can do. So.
I know people really come in and think, oh my gosh, this is so reassuring that I'm with someone that I know I can be confident I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. Assuming you're cleared through your pregnancy to exercise and to do the exercise, it's absolutely written with the generally healthy pregnant woman in mind. And I've taken them since I was 12 weeks pregnant with my first child. So that was nearly 2 years, 12 weeks pregnant, it would have been over 2 years ago. Yeah, gosh. And I've taken them all through this pregnancy too. So we do that. They're all 20-minute body weight workouts.
You don't need equipment, nothing. And, you need an incline, you just need a table or a chair maybe.
And you get to listen to my voice for 20 minutes. And
I'm doing them now.
200 of them if you like.
I've taken over from Jess until she's ready to come back after the baby. Yeah. And Jess is going to be like either with me or guiding me through what we're doing. So it's all good. I just obviously, if you are pregnant and you're thinking about exercising, just make sure that you don't like go and do a high intensity jumping workout. We don't, in the pregnancy workouts, there's no jumping. And so you need to be really mindful that you're doing the right thing. Don't go onto YouTube and just do a HIIT workout. That's not going to be good for you.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, good. And kind of in a similar vein, kind of how much exercise would you say is too much exercise, either for pregnant women or kind of postpartum? When do you think there's that limit there for people?
Oh, I think again it will come down to different people. Like it depends. You know, we've always been avid exercisers that might exercise like when I'm not pregnant 6 times a week. For others, they've not been regular exercisers for much of their life, so it's different. And I think depends on lots of things. Some people will find if they do too much high intensity that their hormones are a little out, you know, their hormones suffer. So too much, how do you even answer that?
We've designed now, we've got our program that like we've got lots of different kind of workouts there. Variety. I think that people need variety. I think that we don't work out for more than 20 minutes at a time. Like, so I've done my workout today. I'm not going to go do anything now tonight, you know, like 20 minutes. So if you're doing that 5 times a week, then that's like great. Like, it's not like you're doing an hour and a half and you've got to think you're going to do an hour and a half tomorrow. So I think you pick something that suits you, that you can follow through with and commit and cement into your lifestyle. I think you need to have rest days. It's very important to rest your body and mind
and nervous system,
and know that nice to rest your body, but it's also really nice to move it as well. Don't be too kind to yourself and go, oh, I need about 5 rest days in a row, because you don't.
Yeah. So people will differ as far as how many rest days they need, you know, and it depends on your level of exertion and stuff and everything. But yeah, we always say this though, like, oh, I'm being, you know, be kind to yourself is one thing that we would tell you. Be kind to yourself. Cut yourself some slack. You're pregnant. You might not be up to any exercise. That's okay. But also, do you need a kick up the butt? Like, is being kind to yourself actually doing a workout? Because then you're on the different, you do know what I mean? So, yeah.
So I'm going to rest tomorrow. I won't do anything tomorrow. And then, so I work out, I do 4 workouts, like Monday, Tuesday, when I take 3 live workouts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I do my sister showers Tuesday often. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, I always rest on Thursday, and then I try and rest 1 day in the week. I will rest 1 day in the week, and then I might try and do like a 25-minute jog, but that happens maybe once every 6 weeks. So I'm,
you know, but we're doing more of that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we're doing that for the fun run.
Yeah.
Well, it is, we've got our Plunket fun run coming up, which everyone should get involved with too. And I was going to come to that, but thanks guys for flagging that up. So everyone do take a look at that on our website and on our Facebook as well. It's virtual. You can run it, you can walk it, you can skip, you can jog, you can do whatever you want to do. That's fine. Hop on one leg, we don't mind. And you can choose your distance as well. So as you lovely ladies have been saying, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own limits. So you can do 3, 5 or 10 kilometers, whichever you feel most comfortable with. That's all good. And you can also go to razorbundle.org.nz to find out more about that too. So that is perfect. And that is running every weekend this coming April. So next month that's running out.
We've got signed up for that, which will be cool.
Fabulous, excellent. And I think we have actually, let me just double check and see if there's any other questions that we need here. And I think we've covered everything today. Is there anything else that you guys would like to cover? Can you let people know where to find you guys at Move It Mama? How do people get involved with your guys' classes?
You can follow obviously on Instagram or Facebook, but to join Move It Mama, go to the website, so moveitmama.co.nz. MAMA. You don't have to be a mum, and that's one thing. Like obviously we're on Plunket, so most people are mums, but you don't have to be a mum. Our sister Shara is not a mum, and she's left the gym, and she only does bodyweight workouts, and she's the fittest and healthiest in her mind that she's been in a long time. Anyway, moveitmama.co.nz, and you can join. You put in your credit card details. It's $10 a month, and you can cancel at any time. So you've got nothing really to lose, but you need to, like, if you do join, one thing we're talking about today is you need to commit to 3 workouts a week for 3 months, and you need to really get yourself going and have a goal, and to really and you'll feel the benefits straight away. And write to us, because we're always here to help you.
If you need some help with discipline, then you can write to us, but just know and maybe accept that motivation isn't always going to be intrinsically built within us either.
Cool. That is awesome. Awesome. Lovely. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today. And thank you everyone for watching along and being patient with us while we had a couple of false starts to begin with. So thank you for sticking with us today. And if, as I said before, any questions that anyone has, always feel free to sing out to Plunket line as well. We're here 24/7 on 0800 933 922. And next week we'll be having another Facebook live chat around oral health. So do join us for that one next week. And again, thank you to you lovely ladies down there. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And thank you again to everyone watching. Ka kite, everybody. Bye bye.
Thanks, Chloe.
Bye. No worries. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See ya.